Captain Jill's radio show. Alright. Hello, Winstomers. How are we? I'm back. Hope you're well. Right now. Yeah. Yeah, so it feels great, to talk about this latest topic going on in the National Rugby League about these new concussion protocols for players out there. And then I start to think to myself, is the NRL going too soft at the moment? Is the NRL becoming a whole PC culture lifestyle at the moment? Is the NRL getting to the point like where NFL is going, where they want to be playing sarcastic ball like they did on South Park, predicted, and the change of the Washington Redskins names because they thought the Washington Redskins were racist? Now, the new concussion rule came in today. Players have got to take 11 days off. There's different categories for concussions. The rugby league is a dangerous sport. It's contact sport. It's very physical on the body, very brutal on the body. People are going to get hurt playing this game. All right? But this is what we get entertained for. The players love this sport. They live for this sport. They, put all their blood, sweat, and tears into playing rugby league. It's like I watch the first two rounds this year, and you got this independent doctor pulling players off the field just for a slight little head knock. Now we saw on Sunday against the West Tigers and Knights how many fucking Knights players got injured, and it was in the first second, boom, they copped a huge head knock. But are the concussion protocols getting too strict in the NRL to the point where it's just going to delay the game? It's going to slow the game down. I mean, this is not, my decision. The longer that you do play rugby league or NFL, any contact sport, the more chances you have for traumatic brain injury. This is going on before I was born. Hits to the head in contact sport happen. It's not meant to happen. You're not meant to hit someone to the head intentionally. Like NFL, I don't know why they have this stupid idea to hit each other with their helmets. Aren't you supposed to hit people with your shoulders and not your head? I mean, that's NFL. For rugby league, rugby union, AFL, different category, like the AFL as well has got class action lawsuits against former players who are suing the AFL. Now, I can understand why former players who have retired want compensation. But if the league and the NRL were aware of this for years, why didn't they bring in these concussion protocols 10 years ago? Why now do the NRL want to get so super strict on MIAs? Independent doctors pulling players off for 15 minutes during the half when they could be on the field. Years ago, like 20 years ago, a player got knocked out. They took him off if it was in the first half. They took him off for the first half. They went and assessed them. And if they were functioning, they bring them on in the second half. Now that's dangerous, of course. They should not have done that. But now they're wanting to get all video footage of players that they're training. They want to know every single detail, what their players are doing. So if a player gets a concussion at training, okay, fair enough. Put them on the bench for that week and change your squad. For my point of view is this. It's you've got to be able to find the line on, are we taking this too far with the NRL, or is this for the welfare of the players? Now, the league's been trying to clean up the league for years with fighting and all that. I noticed they've really cut back on fighting, like punch-ups. And yeah, that's good idea. Kids are gonna watch it though, but are they trying to get so soft that, it seems to me the referees are just becoming bitches to the point where they just want to send a player off for some tiny thing. So many players have been sent to the sin bin, and it's only round 2. Now, what's going to happen in the finals, or when the finals hit, and players are having MIAs, and they're going to be pulled out for a week of the final, or a week before the grand final? They banned the shoulder charge because that is a dangerous move, the shoulder charge. You know that. But this is a highly elite level sport, rugby league. It's a dangerous physical contact sport. People will get hurt. Ever since I was a kid, people were getting hurt playing the game of rugby league. But is this another way of going too far, where they want to start getting a neurologist to basically start assessing players and making it difficult to make a return to the field over a slight little head knock? This goes to the NFL as well, any contact sport, NHL out there. Not so much in cricket or baseball. I know that if in cricket a player gets hit to the head, they get the physio to have a look at them, take them off, do the concussion protocols, and then decide if they need to retire hurt. This debate's been going on for years and years and years, but we go to watch, sport, cricket, whatever, to entertain, not to get all PC political correctness out of it. You know that. But I guess the good part of it is the NRL is trying to clean up the league of dirty players in the past that were going out there to hurt someone and basically put them out of a job. You know that, and so for me, I feel that it's going to be a challenge. You know, there never used to be the captain's challenge in the NRLs, all to do with the ref's call, and then the video referee came into play, which is good, which simplifies it. But now I think all this captain's challenge and DRS is just, I don't know, it's a bit of a stuff around. I feel it's been taken advantage of at an international level. So for me, we have to wait and see how this season of 2023 plays out in sport. Is sport getting to the point where it's getting too soft on people, or is it to the point where they are looking out for player safety out there? I mean, player safety is important. You look at mixed martial arts, boxing, dangerous sports, getting hit to the head quite frequently. We've known for years in boxing, yes, when boxers retire, they definitely end up with CTE because constantly getting punched in the head. But this is a player's, job, career. This is what they've chosen to do. They love this sport of rugby league, boxing, MMA, etc., etc. So it's the risk you take. And yes, there have been tragic accidents in rugby league as well. But is it going to get to the point where they've had to make it so soft because too many players were getting hurt? You know, I read there was an article in the Daily Telegraph this week about kids playing rugby league that I think it's mandatory for the kids to wear headgear. I mean, that's okay, but let them play tackle football. If that's what they want to do, then let the kids play tackle football. I mean, don't start on all soft. If that's what the desire to be is to play rugby league or union, let them. I tried to play rugby union as a kid, and yeah, I got smashed, but it was fun. You know, you get up, brush yourself off, but then you decide, well, is this a sport for me? And it wasn't, and that's okay. But it was good fun. Tried it out for the school, gave it a go, gave it my best shot, and yeah. But sport is sport. But leave the politics out of sport, please. Okay, just leave politics out of sports, guys. We're here to be entertained. We're here to watch our sport and be entertained. Okay. That's what it's all about. You know that. It's like for me, it comes down to the point where I think that if the NRL is not going to take take the fans seriously and listen to the fans seriously, well then are people going to stop watching? I mean, the first 2 rounds of the comp pretty much been sold out. Tickets have been sold out so quick. I mean, this is not my decision making. This is the CEO's decision. But what's been frustrating is the whole ruck rule and inside the 10 rule and this whole 6 again rule, which is just ridiculous. It's just a bit stupid. I don't understand why professional sports leagues, want to change the rules, okay, to piss the fans off. I was watching the Warriors, take on it was last week. What was the team that was playing? Shit, I forgot. Oh, the Newcastle Knights. Yeah, there was so much fucking stoppages in that game in New Zealand. Players just kept, giving me the shits, constantly giving, fucking penalties all the time, right? All the time, just giving penalties away and delaying the game. The referee keep turning the clock off. You're supposed to have a 30-second shot clock during the scrum. Okay, that's fine. 30 seconds to pack the scrum. But it's like, why do they want to delay the football match? You used to just let the clock run. Why have they stopped? So I don't know whose stupid idea is to keep changing the rules of rugby league. I mean, the game changed, evolved throughout years and years. I mean, people who watched it in the 80s would probably have a different view of it now. I don't know. I wasn't in the 80s. There's been criticisms about the tackling style of our players who are getting their heads knocked at players' hips and knees, talking 100-kilo, men running at you, and you go on down tackling. I think it's around the legs or the hips, which is not the best way to tackle. I don't play league, but and no wonder why players are constantly getting hit in the head too much, and by the league uh, getting so super too. A matter of fact, I think they're getting too strict on the concussion protocols. I think that you're not going to eliminate getting hit in the head, okay? You're not going to eliminate concussions in contact sport. They're going to be around till the day, probably even after the day I die. But it's like, if if the NRL is starting to follow this whole PC culture, man, that's just stupid in general. That's just very stupid. Alright? We go to watch our football because we want to be entertained. Even women's rugby league is growing. Good on for the women having their own league because that's needed for years and years and years. You know. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if this is it, right? If this is it, how is it going to get to the point where, you find out, well, are we just getting all soft on football? Are we getting all, PC culture out there as well, which is just dumb? You know that. It's like social media these days, right? And how social media, can determine like what type of human being that you are setting yourself out to be as well. I think that we need to stand up for what we believe in as sport fans. Without giving up on the league, I guess. Look, just look at it like this: the NHL, NFL, NRL has all the same problem with players. When they retire, they lose their shit because they have nothing to fall back on. The NFL's the worst, actually, out of all of them. NBA as well would be the second because the majority of these players, when they retire, they file bankruptcy in 2 years of their retirement. They got nothing to fall back on, nothing at all. NFL, their contracts are rigged. I know the NBA, they pay out their players even if they get dropped, they still have their salary. Same in rugby league. Any time these guys with these contracts just lose it like that, their career can be done. You know that. I mean, I think now that the NRL is starting to take concussions seriously, I mean that's good that they're trying to look out for players, but are they going to try and be too soft on players? Where even for a little minor, little tiny head knock and they're still fine. Is the independent doctor going to start pulling players off the field? I mean, we're talking big hits that have a whiplash effect. It's like a whiplash, that. But at the end of it, we have to see how this plays out as well. That. So it goes to show that CTE is a real thing, and yes, NFL players who have died have donated their brains and can show what CTE has done to their mental health when retiring. Now, is this something to be afraid of? Yes, because players want to live a life after football because you can't live football all your life. By 35, your body is pretty much done. You can't take it anymore. So what's going to happen? Are people just going to stop watching NFL and go watch baseball or what? Or soccer? I don't know. If they're going to get too strict on their concussion protocols, well, you're only going to piss people off because we pay our tickets to go and watch blokes hammer each other and entertain us, because rugby league, okay, is a passionate sport. It is a hard sport out there. Fed up with journalists from the Daily Telegraph putting shit on players who bust their asses off every week at training and on the field, and all these so-called journalists who talk shit in the press conference, ridiculing the coach. One of these journalists should get on the field and know how hard this sport is to play, okay? And asking stupid questions, which I just cannot believe is happening. You know that? So I don't know the NRL or whatever making moves, political or whatever to, you know, is only just going to confuse things than what it is with the football. You know, it's like keep the politics out of sport, is how I see it. All right, the weather right now is 20 degrees Celsius. It's going to be a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow is going to be top of 36 degrees Celsius. 0 to 1 millimeter of rain, a possible shower. 90% humidity, 0 to 2 millimeter rain since 9 a.m. Rain, 75% high chance of no rain, 50% medium chance of no rain, 25% low chance of less than 1 millimeter of rain. Sydney, Australia, mostly clear. Slight chance of shower or thunderstorm, mainly in the west this afternoon or early evening with light winds. Today, the sunrise was 6:57 a.m. sunrise, 7:18 p.m. sunset. Last quarter moon phase, new moon is the 21st of March. Tomorrow, sunny, low of 15 degrees Celsius, top of 36 degrees Celsius. Friday, sunny, partly low of 17 degrees Celsius, top of 33 degrees Celsius. Saturday, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 18 degrees Celsius, top of 33 degrees Celsius. Sunday, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 17 degrees Celsius, top of 36 degrees Celsius. Friday, cloudy, low of 18 degrees Celsius, top of 26 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, cloudy, 16 degrees Celsius, top of 26 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 14 degrees Celsius, top of 30 degrees Celsius. So if they're trying to bring sport into a PC culture these days, it's just going to confuse the crap out of everyone. I think that we need sport for the life of entertainment, I guess. Brings me to my next thing about, our economic situation in Australia, where the state election coming up, Yeah, you got Dominic Perrottet. Okay. Will he deliver on what he has promised as the New South Wales Premier, or, you know, is he going to be a left-leaning greenie with Matt Keane and say that he is a liberal for our nation? I'll let you decide that on election day. I think that the Chinese are planning their attacks on the Western world. Joe Biden's gone to shit. Okay, he can't. All right, he's totally fucked up as president. The Democrats, they do rubbish the Republican Party, rubbish Donald Trump, and what happened? The Democrats gave you shit with Joe Biden. Now, each their own opinions about Joe Biden, but it's just embarrassing, honestly, that the American government, the USA, has a president who just cannot do his job. Donald Trump's getting old, of course. All it is, my political views over the years in the US have changed quite a lot. It goes all the way back to the cancel culture and the shadow banning problems that have gone on. You know that. But I think we as content creators have just got to shut it all out of our lives today. I think that people need to know the truth and deserve to know the truth about what this PC culture is doing to our nation as well. Facebook has gone to shit. I'm fed up with it. I don't care about them anymore. But it's just really great to be here now and just, you know, give the best that I can with my whole life ahead of me. You know that. And that's what you could do too. Certain things in life you just gotta, I guess learn to let go of, you know, PC culture and a shadow banning world at the end of the day. As I see the world changing quite a fair bit, I think, well, yeah, we can overcome these obstacles that are facing us right now with shadow banning and cancel culture and being cancelled at the same time. You know, I think the more we can basically wake up to these views, the better that they will become for us all. It's like you got to see it like this. I guess just being happy with what you have for a start is the first thing I could say if you've been cancelled. Like, be proud of all your achievements out there if you've been cancelled with cancel culture. The second is to believe in the work that you are doing for a reason, not because you're pressuring yourself to go out and work. You are doing this because you love what you do and you are prepared to go through the shit times, even if you have been cancelled with cancel culture. Okay? I suppose that enough is enough of this cancel culture bullshit out there and shadow banning. I think you as the consumers, you as the audience, need to hear the truth about how shadow banning and cancel culture has hurt the entertainment industry and music industry a lot. And we wonder why. That, this is going on now as well. I think that, people need to, wake up and say, hey, the left wing news media is honestly making life difficult for me. You know, so then it's like, well, why are they doing that? You know, I suppose that you've got to look at it as a long-term uh, solution and not something that is short-term. For me, I think that we live in a world of too much social media, too much technology world since COVID-19 happened, too much vaccine debates are going on out there. Too many people are, just confused spiritually, emotionally, socially. It's like we were living like 2 years in this whole virtual world. Oh my God. And yeah, you know what? There's such thing as herd immunity to pandemics out there, and natural immunity out there as well. It is very debatable if you've been vaccinated or not vaccinated. You know what? I don't discriminate. It's your choice. But it's like the whole government discriminated the people because it became like, you could say, a totalitarian system where it became a no jab, or if you didn't get your jab, you couldn't go and sit down for a cup of coffee, or you couldn't go to your doctor's surgery. This is not bad. Our world leaders have stuffed this up. I mean, you may be able to disagree with me, and that's okay. You can disagree all you want. Dr. Fauci, I've said this before. Look, at one point I admired Dr. Fauci, but not anymore. Because there's something dodgy going on there in that Wuhan laboratory. As I'm speaking to everyone here right now as well. But who knows what the future holds in a PC culture. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Julie. How are
I'm
you?
all right. I was just listening to you, and you know, I don't think many people would disagree with you, Stephen. If they were observant enough, they'd realise that what you're talking about is, you know, blatant observation.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter which way you go with it, whatever you decisions and choices you took at the time, you only had choices that were guided choices, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
along with that, then we received this division that you're talking about, this division of what choices you made, how people would view you, what kind of little labels would be stuck on you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a real shame, isn't it? So when someone like you comes on and you start chatting and telling us, you know, from a point of view that only you will know, from a country that you are in, which is, you know, we're all experiencing different things according to our various countries. And from what I've heard in the UK about Australia, those choices were quite adamant by
Mm-hmm.
government. You know, you've pretty much forced down a certain road. And that's just terrible that the world allows this in many, many countries all of the time. This kind of this tyranny, which it is. It is, you know, I'll agree with you there. I think it is tyranny. And from what I can see, the UK, we're no different. We're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no different. And it wouldn't matter which government was voted in. You've got that again very soon. They all still, they're all still very much in the pockets of powerful people that can play. They can play. They can play with us. They can play with the human race.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can see that is in my power to do is to enjoy my existence in my space and try and make that existence count and have a pleasant effect on others around me. You know, and that's all I can do. That is within my remit. My whole attitude towards it is all manageable by myself as well. I go on Twitter quite a lot, and I see on there people like there's a few people that I follow. One of them is Gareth Icke, David Icke, there's a Neil Oliver, these sort of people, and they're telling me information which is great, but also they're kind of feeding me this line that these things are occurring and there's nothing I can do about it, and that's unpleasant.
Of course.
You know what I mean? That's kind of unpleasant. It's you know, something that I like to read about stuff, but in the end, I think I have to be able to live my daily existence without fearing what everyone else is doing. The one thing I have got in my favour is I can decide what I am doing, and I can make that a pleasant experience for myself and other people just by being very simplistic, really. I don't need to own
Exactly.
a lot. Yeah, I don't need to be loaded with money. I don't need to do it in return for, you know, money either. I don't have to promote myself in any way. I am who I am, and the people that come across me will realize that, and that's fine. That's perfect for me. There's nothing I want more than just to connect on the simplest level with another human being without.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it,
yeah,
it goes to show that how Western civilization could become a whole totalitarian system where you had to show a vaccine card just to sit down for a cup of coffee or go to the restaurant. It's
yeah,
cost the economy so much money. The whole restaurant industry suffered. I'm walking down my local shopping center today. There's quite a few small businesses that I've had to close.
yeah.
And it's a shame because I'd rather support small businesses instead of corporations.
I agree. That cup of tea in my picture there, Stephen.
Mm,
That is something I purchased from a little cafe
nice.
on a beachside. It's a family-owned business. It's one, just one. It's not like a chain of anybody, and it's not a conglomerate of any sort. It's just one little place, and it started off as a little sort of sheddy shack kind of thing.
Mm,
And it was pleasant to go in there and get a cup of tea and see the tea bag, and to put the milk in for me, and I had my sugar lumps, and there on the side's a little magazine about the local area, and it's just homemade cakes, and that's the sort of business I want. And nobody asked me if I'd been vaccinated, which was
mm.
fantastic because I would have been thrown out because I'm
Yeah, that's what
one of those rebels.
was
But
going
for
on
one,
here
yeah, yeah,
in Australia, and at least they don't have that anymore. At least airline travel, and except if you go on to China, it's going to be a hassle. But I think that there should be a royal commission into COVID and Anthony Fauci be investigated because
yeah. I
something
think they all
seems a
should.
bit dodgy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we were coerced that if we didn't go have this vaccine, we won't be able to work in the care industry, which is where I was, and I refused.
yeah,
Which then created a whole new experience for me because I thought, well, what can I do about this? And then went
yeah,
on that bike ride and raised money for mental health, which was great. And not a
yeah,
lot, but it just gave me a purpose outside of COVID. COVID was not going
yeah,
to have any effect on me. I missed all my jabs. I had nurses
yeah.
telling me that I was selfish because
Oh
there you
shit.
are. There's the divide. There's the divide. You're selfish. Why are you not having it? Because I have body autonomy, I said, and I'm choosing not to. That's all. There's
Uh-huh,
no other reason. It's not because I don't believe it or what. None of it. I just do not want it. Thank you.
uh-huh,
And anyway, the job that I worked for then decided that the deadline was coming up, and I'd already made plans. And then they decided because there would be a mass exodus because people in the NHS actually, there were people speaking up. There was a guy who was fired from his job for speaking up because he said he didn't
uh-huh,
want it. Why should he? He was interviewed by the BBC, I think, at some point. But then there seemed to be nobody was sort of saying how many were refusing this vaccine. But in the end, you knew that it was a large amount because the NHS then said, well, actually, we're not going to fire you if you don't have the vaccine.
and that's good.
It's
You
good
know,
because it meant that people who stood their ground for whatever reason
yeah.
allowed freedom of choice.
Well, exactly. Look, I've had 4 vaccines of the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
I ended up catching it over Christmas. I copped it quite bad, and I
Mm.
was quite angry. I said to my GP, "What's going on? I've got four. I've had four, four booster shots. Turns out I got a low immunity to it." And I'm thinking, how
Yeah.
is this possible? Have you caught COVID yet?
I worked on a COVID ward
Yeah.
using all of the whatever, and I worked on that ward for probably a year. I never
Mhm.
got COVID. Then the second
Wow.
wave came along, and we were all having to do these COVID tests,
Mm.
and we're doing them more regularly. And suddenly, I get COVID.
Oh.
For me, it's 4 days of different temperatures. Well, this
Yeah.
is the thing, it's also the label of COVID.
Yeah.
That's something else. That's just another conversation for another day. But I had fingers in the air COVID, and it lasted about a week,
Yeah.
and it was light. So,
Wow. Yeah, so different opinions about the vaccines and how people have been discriminated against their freedom of choice. Shame on you, our world leaders, and you should be investigated. And look, I don't know if people have had vaccine injuries out there, but yeah, it's quite possible that this is going on.
it's
Speaking,
yeah, it's
yeah,
only kind of recent though that we've been able to access information in a
mm,
more unbiased form. Because
yeah,
also, along with it all, are the stipulations about what the media are allowed to say.
mhm,
And that's both sides, really. You've got the anti-vaxxers on one side, and you've got the vaccinated promoting companies for health and all of this on the other. But both of them need to just wind their necks in a little bit and allow
yeah,
people their own intelligence. If
exactly.
if all the facts were laid on the table, this is the thing that's been taken away. It's not necessarily freedom of choice, but what it says to me is that we are not trusted to use our own intelligence, and that is sad.
Yeah, no, I can remember going to my doctor and I'd be getting so many different opinions each visit. Oh, this, you got to get it, or there's a possibility if you took the AstraZeneca, you're going to get the blood clots or thrombosis, which never happened, and that was
Yeah,
good.
scare the living bejesus out of you. Go on, that'll help.
We were told to get the Pfizer vaccine. I got turned away by Sonic Healthcare because they said I was from a different area and I was quite pissed off about it.
Oh
Blah,
dear.
blah, blah. So, do everything my GP tells me, which is good. And, you just wonder, were they being told just made up information on the spot from the Department of Health in New South Wales government?
Hmm. Right, I'm going to have to go and help Brad. He's just cut his hand on a glass, so I'll be back in a
Oh,
minute. All right. Sorry,
all right.
Steve. I've got a fly. He's just
All good, all
cut
good.
himself. All right. Speak to you in a bit. Bye.
You too. Bye. So, yeah. And that's what it is. It's who knows the future of where Australia is going to be. But this is what I love about the Stephen Shields radio show, all the way on social audio app. And this is what's great about wisdom is we can express our freedom of speech here on this podcast. It's great to get people's inputs into how the world is working now. And, it seems to me psychologically is how media can manipulate us as well and scare us all into doing things and influencing us in order to get a jab, or you got to be vaccinated, or this is going to happen, and scaring us. I remember, you couldn't even go into a club or a bar or, like I said, restaurant, cafe, even the shops, just to do simple grocery shopping. It was like I had to start, give all my personal details to Service New South Wales with a QR code check-in. They destroy it after 21 days anyway. And they're 3 weeks behind on it. And I'm like, well, what? How come? And Brad Hazard every day on the TV is like, you got to get your vaccine, you got to get your jab. All the world's going, and oh my God, I was fed up with that. But that's how we've had to learn to live with COVID. With the different variants of the virus and the Omicron variants hanging around out there, I don't know. But good on people for standing up for their rights and what they believe in out there in the world, because, yeah, we all have a freedom of choice.
I checked all the glasses there, so Brad is okay. I've just Brad has OCD, so he broke a glass and then he has to account for every piece because well, that's
So
all right.
what's happening in the UK? There was a problem with J.K. Rowling where she spoke out about transgender people in sport. Now they're trying to cancel her.
Yeah, they've done that. Also, you've got Gary Lineker as well, who said, let immigrants come in. But again, this is the thing, Stephen, is when you that's cancel culture, by the way.
Yeah.
When you're being directed, your focus is being directed towards these, what I would call actually minuscule things, mini sentences that are being magnified under the media. And your attention is being drawn towards that. And it's the same, the principle of sleight of hand. Whilst you're concentrating on that over there, what else is going on? Just draw your eyes away from that, because that is magnification that's not necessary. It's one of those things, like, if I gave it to you this way, if I gave you a piece of information and I said to you, you really need to think about this, you really need to think about this. So you're so focused on what I'm saying. Why does she want me to think about that? What, and it's starting to really suck in all your information or your attention. On the other hand, I'm writing down a list of things and rules and regulations that you have to abide by, but you're so busy thinking about J.K. Rowling or Gary Lineker that you're not taking any notice. And the other thing about it is all attention is good attention. So it brings you into mind J.K. Rowling again. Suddenly all of her books will be like gold dust because, anything that she's ever written, she's been shut up about. So it's worth having a book that's written by J.K. Rowling, because they may stop publishing them, and the value of that goes up. And there's all of that to think about as well. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
that's quite possible. Like, there was a couple of movies where I think they've threatened to not have her direct them, and it's like the BBC just want to forget about J.K. Rowling now. She started off on welfare, and when she
Yeah,
the first,
apparently,
yeah,
yeah, that's the other thing. is it's great to see someone who's pushed a rock up a hill or describing pushing a rock up a hill, but we don't know that, do we? We only have what's been put out there that she sat in a cafe while she was on the dole every day writing The Prisoner of Azkaban or whatever it was.
Mm.
And what I do is I do always do a bit of research and things. And well, if you've ever read Lord of the Rings,
Yes.
you'll find some very huge similarities in some of the escapades of the people that Harry Potter might meet.
Uh-huh.
And that's what you call inspiration and just switching it around and making it new, which is what she did.
Mm.
But because the imagination has been fired up previously, and it's aimed at a particular group of people. It was a great publishing thing. She did really well, and now the spotlight's on again because that spotlight hasn't been on her for quite a long time. Really, she's been
Mm.
very quiet in the last 10 years.
Mm.
Suddenly, she's brought to the fore again with this, and it, like I said, all publicity is good publicity.
Mm.
That's all I have to say about the J.K. Rowling affair. But yeah, I think the thing is about that is for people of my generation, J.K. Rowling being around the same age as myself, we've had a whole vocabulary, a whole nurture, a whole set of programming that is for our age. And when something new comes in, which is a new thing, it's very new for us to suddenly have to call people they, them. It's a
Yeah.
new concept. It's very, very difficult for us to adjust to because our neural patterns and our pathways have really been well trodden. So all she's got to do is make such a just be herself, and there
Exactly.
she can be torn apart because her nurture is of the same sort of generation as my own, and it is difficult for us, very difficult for us to be able to understand this new thing. It's just true. I'm just saying it because you know me, I always speak the truth. I speak my truth, I speak what I see. And I myself have difficulties with this. I really do. You
Yeah,
know,
well, me too. I mean, I think it's kind of stupid because they think that they're gonna offend one another when saying she or he. Like, I've
yeah,
always used that, no problem. I don't understand what do they want to change that stuff for?
it makes it a cobweb of uh, intricacy that makes you
Mm.
fearful to tread. It's another thing based on offending people, a fearful of offending people. It's
Oh,
just difficult, isn't it? Because being a very kind of like I said, I like to interact with all souls, all people. I like to have a connection with them and try and sort of see things in their light and allow them, their space to tell me how it is with them. Not tell them they're wrong or
exactly.
right, or not tell myself that I'm wrong or right, but just to curiosity for me is wide, huge. I like to discover things. But this is something that I find hard, that someone
Mm.
could live so long in despising themselves so much that they have to change their whole physicality, their whole feeling of who they are. And how long have they been like in this place of sadness then, where they've
Mm.
not really expressed who they are?
Yeah.
and that they need to feel that they have to express this so deeply upon others.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Control, I guess.
I mean, I don't go around telling everybody that I'm a heterosexual female.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I don't go around telling people also that there would never be a time when I might not be.
Mm-hmm.
I never tell people that, I might be a they, them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a strange thing, and I really can't get my head around it. And it might be because I'm 55. It might
Mm-hmm.
be because I've had a nurture of, balls for girls and trucks for boys kind of thing, It might be all that. But now I'm so confused that I daren't communicate with another person for fear of offending them in some way. What's that
Yeah.
about?
I don't know. I don't
Mm.
know. But
Well, to me, it just shouts of divide, 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 divide. It's your side, my side, their side, them side. It's just crazy. And we're
yeah.
absolutely roller coasting. We are like a spinning top gathering momentum in this path that we seem to be going down of confusion. Now
Yeah.
it seems to be okay to be confused. What's that about?
Control in society, I guess. That's what's
Yeah,
going
because if
on.
you don't know yourself, you're easy. You're an
Yeah.
easy target. If you don't know yourself, you're an easy target. That's it. You're mallow.
Julie, thanks for coming on the show. Always great to have you as a guest on the Stephen Shields radio show. It's always great to have, and anyone else is welcome to come on stage and share their thoughts or just want to talk about society and culture. I was talking about the National Rugby League and sport before, about how, is sport becoming PC culture. Now, this happened to Cristiano Ronaldo. He spoke out against vaccine mandates in Manchester United. I don't know what the hell happened, got rid of him and pissed off quite a lot of fans out there. I'm a Manchester United fan, by the way. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I just try to live one day at a time, practice my spiritual practice, and try not to let stupid things like this. If people want to go around being stupid, well, that's on you. I just want to live the best life that I can live, and so can you as well. But yeah, it's when you hear about PC culture being taught in school to school kids about gender equality, it's like, what are kids going to benefit out of gender equality being taught about that? What? Uh, uh, it's yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's messy. It's like the climate change problem too. Ever since we've had in Australia Anthony Albanese from the Labor Party, a left-wing government who's been headlined as a socialist at times, Marxism, I begin to worry about, well, number one, he's always going overseas, and why can't he just hold a Zoom meeting with world leaders? Why does he have to use taxpayers' money to go overseas and to go and watch the cricket in India, of course? But I believe that we need to, just, I guess, listen to your own intuition as much as you can as well. Definitely listen to your intuition as much as you can, and just learn to block out that negative energy as well, and take one day at a time in life. To all my listeners, always great to podcast here on Wisdom. Social audio is great. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Stephen Shields radio show. Turn on your notification wherever you get your podcasts. They're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Share any of your favorite episodes on your social media. That way more people can, listen in. Also, follow me here on Wisdom as well. Send me in any questions on Wisdom to have answered. I'll post them on my social media pages. And I wish everyone all the best. Bye for now.